السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Good morning guys. Welcome to our lesson today. We will study lesson 10 writing page 90 and 91. Exercise A. How do you think people decide on a field of study or a job? Which factors affect their decision and choice? Before we read the text, here are some questions that we will answer after listening and reading the text. Read the text and find out. What did the writer originally want to study? Why did he give up his original plan? Give up means stop his plan. Why do you think he took different training courses? What had he done to qualify as a language teacher? What other job opportunity did he have? What prompted him to make his final decision or final choice? Does he regret it? Let's listen to the text first, then we will read and answer the question. Listen.
After I finished school, I chose to try out a number of things before settling on one field of study or profession. I had originally wanted to go to art school, but had changed my mind when I found out how hard it was for graduates to find employment. I was also reluctant to go ahead with it, because I knew that my father was likely to disapprove in a quiet but very noticeable manner. He wanted me to study medicine, but I didn't. I took a number of courses in typing, shorthand, French, art, design, and literature, and worked part-time as a public relations assistant, a shop assistant, etc. Eventually, I started studying psychology, philosophy, and linguistics. I had also managed to attend a teaching methodology course that qualified me as a language teacher, but I was not at all certain that I wanted a teaching career. At some point, I was approached by a new airline company that invited me to do an interview, followed by a test before I could be offered a job. At the time, I used to help out with registration at a large language center where my uncle taught. So, I agreed to spend the next few days working for them from morning till evening, totally forgetting the airline company. 2 days later, the man I knew from the airline company turned up and accused me of being irresponsible because I had not bothered to check with the airline company on the final results and a job offer. He said there was still time to do it, but I would have to drop what I was doing and run. For some reason, I did exactly the opposite. I stayed put, thanked him, and went back to work. Later that evening, I was offered my first teaching job by the director of studies. I have often wondered what my life would have been like if I had chosen the airline company instead, but not too enthusiastically. Regardless of difficulties and ups and downs, this is the choice that has become a life's choice, and no amount of wondering is likely to ever make me regret it.
The first paragraph. Okay, Yusuf.
After I finished school, I chose to try out a number of studying before sitting on one field of study or profession. I had originally wanted to go to art school, but had changed my mind when I found out how hard it was for graduates to find employment.
Employment means job. Okay, graduates means the people who finish school. Okay.
Yes.
It's difficult. It's difficult to find job. So.
Job. I was also reacted to go ahead with it because I know that my father was likely to disapprove in quiet but very noticeable manner. He wanted me to study medicine, but I didn't.
So he wanted to join the art school. He wanted to join the art school, but his father wanted him to study the medicine and he was also reluctant. Reluctant means not willing, okay, or unwilling, يعني غير مستعد أو غير راغب to go ahead with it. With what? With the school or art school, okay? Because he knew that his father was likely to dislike in a quiet but very noticeable means clear manner. يعني أبوه هيرفضها اللي هي art school، هيرفضها بشكل هادئ يعني. okay so he changed his mind، غير رأيه. okay then next paragraph. okay إياد.
I took a number of courses in typing, shorthand, French, art, design, and lecture, and worked part-time as a public relations assistant, a shop assistant, etc. Eventually, I started studying philosophy philosophy, and languages. I had also managed linguistics.
Yeah.
I had also managed to attend a teaching methodology course that qualified me as a language teacher, but I was not at all certain that I wanted a teaching career.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, so here he decided to be a teacher. So he had some courses in subjects related to teaching, linguistics and methodology, the study of methods of teaching، يعني طرق تدريس to become a language teacher، عشان يبقى مدرس لغة. Then again he decided another thing. The third paragraph. Okay, Basil.
At some point, I was approached by a new airline company that invited me to do an interview, followed by a test before I could be offered a job. At the time, I used to help out with registration at a large language center where my uncle taught, so I agreed to spend the next few days working for them from morning till evening, totally forgetting the airline company. 2 days later, the man I knew from the airline company turned up and accused me of being irresponsible because I had not bothered to check with the airline company on the final results and a job offer. He said there was still time to do it, but I would have to drop what I was doing and run for some reason. I did exactly the opposite. I stayed but thanked him and went back to work.
Okay, thank you, Basil. So here he find a job in an airline company. Okay, after he went to the test and the interview, he said he used to help out with registration. Registration means the act of recording names and details on an official list. له مكتب تسجيل يعني. At a large language center where my uncle taught. His uncle taught him this job. After he went to the interview and test in the airline company. Then the man who he knew or know in the company appeared and told him, accused him means accused him to blame him، يعني بيلومه. Being irresponsible means careless، يعني مهمل. قال له ان انت مهمل because I had not bothered to check with the airline. Bother to check means he didn't find out the result of the airline company. Okay. He said there was still time to do it, but I would have to drop what I was doing and run. So he must finish his job and leave his job as in the registration. Okay. For some reasons I did exactly the opposite. So he refused this job in the airline company and I stayed put. Stayed put means to stay where you are، يعني ظل في المكان بتاعه، المكتب بتاع التسجيل. Thanked him and went back to work. Last paragraph. Later that evening I was offered my first teaching job, the job that he hoped, by the director of studies. I have often wondered what my life would have been like if I had chosen the airline company instead. I wonder means I am amazed. If you are wonder means you are amazed. What your life would have been like if I had chosen the airline company instead of the teaching. But not too enthusiastically. Enthusiastically means excitedly. Okay? Excitedly, regardless of difficulties. Regardless means despite everything. Okay? Despite difficulties and ups and downs. Ups and downs means good times and bad times. يعني اللي التقلبات يعني أو الصعوبات. This is the choice that has become a life's choice. هو ده اختيار الحياة بالنسبة لي. And no amount of wondering is likely to ever make me regret it. No amount of wondering. ما في تعجب is likely to ever make me regret it. يخليني أبدا إن أنا أندم على هذا الاختيار. Okay, the first question here. What did the writer originally want to study? Here, he wanted to go to art school. So he wants to study art school. The second question. Why did he give up his original plan? Here, the answer. Because he found out how hard it was for graduates to find employment. What had he done to qualify as a language teacher? Attend a teaching methodology course relating to teaching. What other job opportunity did he have? A new airline company that invited him to do an interview. What prompted him to make his final choice? Of course, he used to help out with registration at a large language center where his uncle taught him. So he agreed to spend the next few days working for them from morning till evening. Does he regret it? No, he doesn't. 3. Read the text again and find out. Are all the events presented in chronological order? Chronological order means in order of time. And how do you know? Of course, no, not all events are presented in chronological order. For example, he said, I had originally wanted to go to art school. Indicates that this was so before the writer finished school. It indicates that this was so before the writer finished school. So he was thinking before he finished his school. Which sentences or phrases or words provide information about the writer's thoughts, attitude, and feeling? Here are some sentences from the text, but I had changed my mind. I was also reluctant. My father was likely to disapprove in a quiet and but very noticeable manner. And all these sentences, okay? Which part reveals say the writer's position on the matter? Okay, the last paragraph reveals the writer's position. Are there sections or phrases, sentences that address a longer period of time in real terms but very briefly? Briefly means in short way. Yes, after I finished school refers to a long time in actual terms. يعني هنا بتدل على المدى البعيد هنا. Okay. After I finished school refers to a long time in actual terms. So do the following sentences. والجملة دي كمان. I chose to try out a number of things. I took a number of courses. Are there sections or phrases that address a shorter period of time in real time but in greater details? No, I don't think there is phrases that shorter or address shorter period. Exercise B. Think of an important decision you or a family member has made. Compare what your life is like now to what it would have been like if you or a family member had made a different decision. Use the chart to organize your ideas. This chart you write here the life now and how life would have been different. Write a personal narrative on this subject. Here is an example. Who read this example? Okay, Yusuf.
A life-changing decision. After I graduated for high school, I had a choice of going to the university in my hometown or going to one of the far from home. I chose to go to the university far from home, although I am happy with my choice. Sometimes I feel it as if I live a million miles from home. If I had chosen differently, it would have led to very different life for me.
Okay, thank you, Yusuf. And here in the writing corner, some tips when you write a narrative or speculative personal narrative. When you write a reflective and speculative personal narrative, يعني قصة تأملية, think about the following. What was already happened, what opportunities were available, and what results have taken place. Have taken place means have happened. What feeling and attitudes you have experienced, which people were involved directly or indirectly, how to present your ideas so you can set the context clearly for your reader. Then refer to the real context and reflect and or evaluate the decision choice you made. Evaluate means يقيم أو يثمن القرار اللي هو خده. Wonder, speculate how things might have been different. وهتقول لو لم تأخذ هذا القرار ايه التغيرات اللي كانت ممكن تحصل. Address the questions to your reader. وجه السؤال للقارئ. Express satisfactions or regret. يتعبر على satisfaction الرضا comfort or regret الندم about your decision or choice. We have some participations from your classmates. The first participant is Basil. Okay, Basil, tell us about your choice or your family choice here, Basil. Yes, Basil.
Life now, we returned back to our country. I joined to a school in our country, and my elder brother joined a university.
Okay, how life would have been different?
We would have been in Saudi Arabia, and I would have been in my old school. My brother would not have joined a university.
Yeah, very good. Thank you, Basil. The second participant, Salim. Salim, tell us about the decision you wrote here. Salim. Okay, Salim.
Life now, living in the area was an important decision. Now we are living in quiet neighborhood.
Yeah, and how life would have been different?
I think life was different because I will not find the calm in watch I live and the services I found.
Okay, thank you, Salim. Great job. But here, take care, Salim, for some things in writing. Here, use would have been instead of was. Okay, use would have been. Okay, something you regret in the past, use would have been. And here, I will not find, use wouldn't have found. The past participle of find is found. Okay. Another participant, Yusuf Ahmed. Yusuf, tell us about the life now and how life would have been different. Okay, Yusuf.
Now I enter international school and I live far away from my family. And here my friends is from Saudi Arabia and Lebanon and Syria and Jordan and Palestine.
Yeah.
My life would be different. I enter a governmental school. I will live with my family and my friend will be an Egyptian.
Yeah, very good. Thank you, Yusuf. But here also some mistakes you must take care to them. The first one here, use I am in an international school better than saying I entered. I am in an international school because you talk about something in present now, okay? And also here, my friends are from Sweden. My friends are not is. Okay, Yusuf? Here also use would have been or would have entered. I would have been. Because the question is how life would have been. I would have been in governmental school. Or I would have entered the governmental school. I will live. Also, I would have lived. Okay. My friends will be. My friends would have been. Egyptian also take care. Egyptian with A. Egyptians. Okay. A not O. Thank you guys. I really appreciate your effort. Thank you so much. Thank you guys. I hope you enjoyed the lesson and see you next lesson. Inshallah. Goodbye.